All right, so thank you everyone for joining us today for our third SBC meeting. Mike Cox has our presentation on the screen. You should have received the agenda and the presentation materials via FTP link and SharePoint link from Mike earlier this morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started and get through the agenda and our slides.
Okay.
So our next, you want to go ahead and you want to call the meeting to order, Bev?
Yes, thank you, Christina. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order at 9:04. And the first item of business will be to approve the May 28th meeting minutes. And you've all had the chance to read them. I'd like to thank Doran Whittier for that presentation on the minutes. They're excellent. And if anybody has any corrections or amendments to those, please let us know. But I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion, Bev.
Thanks, Deb. Motion made by Deb Hewitt. Is there a second?
I'll second it. It took me a minute to unmute myself. Joe Scanlon.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Okay. Seconded by Joe Scanlon. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Did anyone have anything that they wanted to add to those or correct? Okay. They look good. All right. I'm going to take a vote. Let me see. Let me do a roll call. Ed Colbert?
Yes.
Okay. Pete McGinn?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mark Kerbal?
Yeah.
Okay. Deb Hewitt?
Yes.
Okay. Jillian Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Jared Hockman?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ryan Melville? Ryan Melville?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Just checking. And on the telephone, I'm not sure who that is. 877 878. Wait a minute. Last four numbers, 5353. Is that a member of the...
That's me, Bev. Christina.
Christina, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize your number. Okay.
Oh.
The motion passes. Thank you all very much. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the designer selection update. And I am going to turn this over to Christina and Mike and the members of Doran Whittier.
Okay, so basically, we just wanted to go through kind of where we stand with our designer selection process. And as you know, last week we had our designer walkthrough on Wednesday. We were able to have the following firms that are on the screen attend the walkthrough. So there was 9 firms, and we did 2 different walkthroughs, one at 2 o'clock and one at 2:30. Overall, it seemed like a good group of designers that were interested. They took pictures as requested and did not ask any questions. Any questions directed to Dan through the purchasing department. So, like I said, great turnout, seemed very positive attitude towards the project. Hoping that all the designers that attended and even more will be submitting proposals to us. You want to go to the next screen, Mike? So then this is the same timeline that we've shared with you in the past that goes through kind of our designer selection timeline. As you can see, we're on our next step, which is reviewing the proposals. So we hope to get the proposals they're due by June 24th. And then following that date, we will then want the subcommittee as well as the full SBC to go ahead and take our matrix and review the proposals and come back to the 3-member DSP group as far as their recommendations for the selected or designer that you would like to move forward with. So if you could go to the next screen, Mike. So today we do need to make a decision as far as the 3-member DSP selection panel. And we've showed you this kind of criteria that is set forth by the MSBA for the DSP itself. And so I did speak with Beverly this morning in regards to the 3-member group. And Beverly, if you wouldn't mind being the chair, if you have a recommendation for those 3 members, that would be great.
Yes, okay. Thanks, Christina. The 3-member selection panel that's being recommended is me, Mayor Ted Betancourt, and our incoming superintendent, Josh Vidala. I'll give you some reasoning behind this. For the mayor, it is because he is our CEO and is also a member of this committee. And because the mayor will be in a very good position to discuss the plans for how the project fits in with the entire city. And also as far as the experience that our city has had and why we are going to go with whatever the selection of this full committee is, as far as our recommended shortlist on those designers. The second, for Josh Vidala, our incoming superintendent, Josh is very familiar with working with the MSBA because in his capacity in Revere, he's been involved with some of the Revere MSBA projects. As the incoming superintendent, it's important that he also knows what our plans are, and he will end up working closely with whoever the selected designer is as well. For me, as the committee chair, this will be the second time I have gone before the MSBA selection panel for the designer. I have experience on this with the Higgins project. It is a very different type of an experience, and I plan to very firmly support whatever selections this group has made, and we will be making that point known to the MSBA designer selection panel. It's a bit different this time than last, but I know the importance of making sure that the designer that the school building committee selects and recommends is the one that is ultimately chosen. And I will be on watch for that type of any type of situation where we may feel that something is that we're not being heard. I have no doubt that we are going to be heard. Again, this is a different type of process than the last time with Higgins, but because of my experience, I'm going to go on. So the 3 recommended members are Beverly Griffin Dunn, Mayor Edward Betancourt, and Superintendent Josh Vidala. So I'm going to put that before you all for a vote. If someone would make a motion to approve that 3-member selection panel, we'll need a motion and then a second.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion made by Pete McGinn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark Kerbel. Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Dan, thanks for coming in. All right. Are there any comments or discussion on the motion presently before us? Dan just out. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm thinking, why am I calling you Dan? Jim, we just had a motion made and seconded to submit the names of our 3-member designer selection panel, and the panel would consist of me, Mayor Betancourt, and Superintendent Josh Vidala. That's the vote before the members currently.
Thank you, Bev.
Okay. All right. Are there any other comments from anyone? Okay. We're going to take a vote. I'm going to go through this again. It's a roll call vote. Ed Colbert?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe Scanlon?
Yes.
Mark Kerbel?
Yes.
Pete McGinn?
Yes.
Chris, I'm sorry, Chris. Jim Hakey?
Yes.
Deb Hewitt,
Yes.
Jillian Gonzalez,
Yes.
Jared Hoffman,
Yes.
okay, Ryan Melville.
Yes.
Okay. That is the vote, and that will be the panel that takes direction from this full school building committee. Thank you. Christina, I'm going to turn that back over to you so that you can explain to people the next step in the process as far as sending out those proposals once those are disseminated. How will that go? You'll send them to the full committee?
Yes. So we do need to meet, and I can send out an email to our subcommittee and outline some dates in the next couple of weeks where we can review that matrix that we had originally talked about for proposal review.
Okay.
In the meantime, we will be receiving the proposals by June 24th, and they're coming directly to Doran Whittier's office. And that includes the number of hard copies, an original copy for Dan, and the copies for the DSP at the MSBA, as well as electronic copies. As soon as we receive those, I'll go ahead and upload them to my computer and then share them through the FTP SharePoint to the full committee. So everyone has a copy and that they can take a look at the full proposals and go ahead and start using that matrix to review the proposals. Ultimately, at our next SBC meeting, when is our next SBC meeting? It's in July. I can't remember off the top of my head. We're getting the date together for you.
July 16th.
July,
Thank you. Thank you. So by the July,
I'm sorry.
16.
16?
yeah,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
by that next meeting, we'll want the full committee to come to the meeting with their matrix filled out, and for us to basically do a ranking of all the different proposals and firms. So that way we can have a healthy discussion with the 3 DSP members as far as the full SBC recommendation on what designer they would like to proceed with.
So if I can, the small selection group, which worked previously on the selection of our OPM, will again perform that same duty of reviewing the documents submitted for the designers. They will fill out the matrix, and then that work will come before the full school building committee for input from the full school building committee. And at that time, the vote will be taken on the final 3. I think is it the final 3 to be submitted to MSBA?
That's
Or is
correct.
it just
So that's, yeah, so basically we want the full committee to make a recommendation to those 3 members, so that way they can come to the full DSP with their reasoning behind proposals received as far as what designer they would like to move forward with. And so ultimately that information would be really helpful in front of the full MSBA DSP, because it shows kind of a united front that everyone's done their due diligence to review it, and that they're basing the information off of, you know, similar experience, all the different kind of criteria that's in our matrix that we've kind of discussed at the subcommittee as well.
Very good. Okay. Thanks,
Yes,
Christine.
so-
I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that. Does anyone in the group have any questions about the next steps? Okay. So, thank you.
Bev, it's Mike Burton. Just one thing. So just to recap, we will distribute the proposals on the 25th. I think it would probably be a good idea for that smaller subcommittee to possibly meet on the 26th, and we will re-review the matrix and make sure everybody understands what needs to happen, keeping in mind that that's coming up on the July 4th holiday week, which we discussed about. And it sounded last time when we spoke that people's availability was pretty good, given the given COVID and everything else, and nobody's got any place to go. So we'll probably have that kind of recap discussion on Friday, the 26th, if that works. And then we'll send the committee off to work on the proposals. And then we want to get back together with that subcommittee prior to the full SBC on the 16th. So that could be either Friday, July 10th, or it could be Monday, the 13th. But the goal would be to have those scorings and everything complete and vetted, and then that gets uploaded to the full SBC. They have a few days to look at it before the 16th, and then we have that discussion on the 16th.
That sounds good. Okay. And that small group is Dan Doucette and Jim Hafey, Pete McGinn, Beth McGivern, and myself. So Dan, did you have a question on that?
What I plan to do is, once we see the proposals that have come in, I will kind of do a pre-screening to make sure that there are companies who have done elementary schools, that have done projects in the core, that kind of thing, so that the ones who clearly are not meeting our criteria are identified, and I'll just sort of summarize for the small group what my review of those entails, so that we can concentrate on the really viable respondents, as opposed to people who just throw a proposal in for everything that comes before the MSBA.
That sounds good, Dan. Thank you. And I appreciate you did that kind of background work for us on our original run when we were choosing the OPM, and so that the full committee knows. Dan's research was very helpful to us with that small group. It gives us a lot of good background on the firms. Okay, Mike, did you want to continue?
Yep, we can go
Sure.
to the next slide.
Okay, thanks, Christina.
So this is the same link that we've shared with you probably about 3 times now in regards to that online form through Google Docs. And this is kind of to get to know you as the full SBC and ask you some standard questions, as well as working groups and goals for the full SBC. So if you want to go to the next slide, this is the list of our SBC members that have filled out the form itself. And these are the working groups identified to date. We would really like it if everyone from the SBC could fill out that form, that online survey. We can resend it out again today, ultimately so that we can understand who wants to be part of what working group, and also so we can establish goals for the full SBC. And we think it's very important that we have a common goal and that we continue with that common goal throughout the project for anyone that comes on board, so that they understand where we stand as far as the city of Peabody and the goal of the project itself.
And I will encourage you all, make sure you check into this and sign up for one of the working groups. If you have a specific interest or specific talent in the background, this is the fun stuff. This is where it really gets interesting, because you will get to see, really up close a specific piece of this project. And if you have any questions at all about, the time commitment or the work involved in the working group, feel free to ask. Right now, these are in general the 5 truly, I would say the cover all topics. There may be some breakouts later on some of the groups, but it is important to do these. And I know you've already made a good time commitment here with the full school building committee. These meetings that we have right now are designed for everyone and for taking the overall votes. The really fun details get done in those working groups. So I encourage you to fill that out. If you're unable to commit to something, we understand, but if you could just respond to it and let us know, that would help too, because Christina is trying to put this all together so that we can get a good picture of what people are interested in looking at. Dan, did you have your hand up?
Thanks, Bev. One other group that I would suggest be added to the working group list is safety or security. It's increasingly a topic. We certainly had a lot of discussion relative to the Higgins, but I think every building now is something where we want to get the input of police, public safety, others in public safety, and also the staff in terms of access to the building, physical security within the building, and also the grounds. So I would add that to the working group list, and I would also volunteer for the FF&E group, and I think the OPM knows why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so the list that's included in my survey are some examples, but you're more than welcome to provide any other working group that you would like to see set forth as part of our SBC. So definitely agree with you on the security aspect and safety. And we can go ahead and make sure that you're marked off for that as well as the FF&E.
Very good. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? And I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to figure out who's raising their hand physically by their photographs on the screen. So if I miss you, I apologize. But if you do want to speak, just unmute your microphone and give me a shout if I can't see you. Anyone else out there?
Bev, can you see me? Because I arrived late.
Yes, and I noted that, Mrs. McGivern.
Okay.
But thank you for coming.
I couldn't get in. That's okay. I'm good.
I have to give you a high.
Took me a while.
No, that's okay. All right. And I'll be honest with everyone, if you have come in late, please don't hesitate to speak up and let us know you're here. We're also aware of the fact there was one of the staff members at the Welch lost a parent. And so some of our Welch representatives were attending services. So they may be coming. One person won't be able to come, but Mrs. Master is planning on joining us when she's able. Okay, we'll move along. Christina, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah, so our next topic is just any other topics that weren't anticipated.
Sure.
Relatively short agenda this week. We were more focused on the DSP selection, making sure that we had that set in place. And so basically, as you know, our next item is receiving those proposals. So we're hopeful that we get a great pool of proposals from the designers that attended the walkthrough and anyone else that wasn't able to also attend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anyone have any topic that they'd like to bring forward or any comments?
Well, I would mention, Bev, as I sent you that little email, we did get the account numbers set up in our finance system, and we have put the check in for processing. I'll let folks know when the check actually is in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Joe. And so everyone understands what Joe's talking about is this whole project had to be set up appropriately to be able to be processed financially. But right now, congratulations, Doran Whittier, you're going to get paid.
Thank you.
It's part of the record. You heard Joe Scanlon yourself. The check's in the mail. Put it in the minutes. Okay. Anyone else have anything to say? Okay. I think, do we have, I don't know. I don't think we have any members of the public. This is being broadcast. Oh, I was supposed to make an announcement at the beginning. It's being broadcast by Peabody Access Television, and it will be replayed for the viewing pleasure of anyone who wants to watch this meeting. So, but I don't see anyone from the public has called in. So we'll move to the next meeting. Okay, Christina, we've got 7/16 as our next school building committee meeting. That's for everyone. And then we will send out an email to the members of the small working group who will be using the scoring matrix on the designer's submissions. And then on August 13th, that will be the next will be building committee meeting after July. And at that point, we will know who our designer is. So the goal is to have that meeting in August, and we will be rolling. We'll have an OPM and a designer, and we'll be on our way.
Yeah, and 813 will obviously be SBC number 5. That's just the typo on the slide.
Oh, didn't even catch that. Thank you. Okay, so is there anything else from anybody, any members of the committee? Well, I thank you all for this meeting. I can take a motion to adjourn. We'll end at 9:29. And this is great because you all think I lied to you about the amount of time you have to devote to this. And there you go. We've got it. 9:29. You can go get coffee. All right.
Thanks, Bev.
You're
Thank
welcome. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
Okay, thank you. And second by Beth. All right, everyone. I hope you all have a nice week, and we'll be talking to you all very soon.
Okay.
And this is exciting.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.